numeracy, health and well-being is the responsibility of all teachers. And it's never been as important as it is now in this current COVID crisis. So here's a wee video to show how we keep health and well-being at the forefront of what we do.
So Johnny, health and well-being is at the forefront of everything we do. How do we care for the youngsters?
It certainly is. We keep them safe in here, we help them learn and grow, interact, make friendships and learn to work together.
So Anna, how do we care and look after all our youngsters?
So in primary school we make sure we get to know all our pupils individually, we know what their interests are so that we can cater for that, and we get to know their families as well.
So how are we caring for and looking after all our youngsters with health and well-being?
Well, apart from our day-to-day nurturing and checking up on pupils, we also like to have a termly focus on different aspects of health and well-being. And this term we've been particularly thinking about friendship and how to be a good friend and what to do if things go wrong in friendships. And yesterday, actually, Monday's our day for health and well-being, and we were creating our own superheroes. This is Molly's, and she's called Super Alicia. And Super Alicia comes along with some advice for people if they're having problems in their friendships. And one of the pieces of advice that someone came up with was to tell your mum to talk to someone. So we particularly looked at the fact that if you're having trouble in relationships with people, it's best not to keep it a secret, that it's really good to find someone you can trust, find an adult and talk to them about it. So it's through activities like this that we open up discussion, and we find ways to help develop children's understanding of these things.
So Ruth, how do we care and look after all our youngsters with regard to health and well-being then?
Wel, gach na thyn hasyn cwsiach 10 minuten durch brien agus yes na tug die verruten so we care ruten ag son tugs nursing bimich omkoert agus durch brien ru agus ket go terske jaar shane.
So Eli, how do we care for and look after our youngsters?
We're very lucky here in Tidey where we've got our children for such a long time. We've got them for 4 years in our class, and you end up building a strong relationship with them, and they build a strong relationship with their peers, and that makes them, I think, feel very safe and secure, and that can lead on to lots of other things, and you're in a better position to be talking about things that are a little bit more complicated and makes it easier to deal with, I think.
So Dudley, how do we care and look after all our youngsters in this period of health and well-being?
Well, they say a healthy body is a healthy mind, and getting the children out in the fresh air, even on a day like today, is good for all of our well-being and mental health before coming back in and looking at some academic work.
Right, Sophie, how do we care and look after our youngsters then?
Last year I took part in a mental health first aid course, so I'm now a mental health first aider. I promote an open door policy to all pupils. My door's always open and they know that they can come and speak to me about anything whenever they need to.
Right, Laura, can you tell us about health and well-being in music?
I think that music's really good for health and well-being for the kids. I think that learning an instrument gives you a practical skill, and it's good for your mental health because you can feel that you achieved something. So like, even when they're wee in primary and they come to a music club, when they get to the ends of pieces you can always see that they've got something, and it really builds them up because they know that they can do stuff. And I think that we're really lucky here because we've got so many groups and stuff like that in on the island where the kids can go to and take part in music. So even if they're just learning at the beginning, working as part of a team, and that's quite good for their mental health as well. They meet people, it's a social skill, and they learn to work in a group. I've got the seniors behind me who are doing music just now, and it's brilliant to see how they come on and how they can learn from year to year with their performing, and I think it's really good for them because you can see that they actually enjoy when they finish a piece, when they fix it, when it's recordable, and just seeing them do their exams last year was brilliant because they had come on so much and they knew they'd achieved something.
Right, Jack, can you tell us how we care and look after all our youngsters?
Well, as well as teaching our students the curriculum in our own subjects, I think it's important to be, have an awareness of our people's health and well-being, and specifically to give them the opportunity, if you ever notice anything's not quite right, just to have a chat and if it's not appropriate for to have a chat with you, just to arrange for them to have a chat with a member of staff.
So David, how are we caring for and looking after our children with regard to health and wellbeing?
Well, not only in my role as a technical teacher at Tyree High School, I also perform the roles of my time teacher. So every morning when you're registering your pupils and that, you get a chance to speak to them about how things are going for them at Tyree High School. Not just about their work, but their mental health and physical well-being. So we always encourage, the school normally runs a lot of after-school clubs, which we obviously encourage them to get involved in for their physical health and their mental well-being. We also do a daily lunch order with them, so we can keep an eye on their eating habits and what they're consuming each day to obviously keep themselves physically healthy, which obviously impacts on their mental health as well. I personally run the pipe band within the school, and I've noticed quite a lot of kids get a lot of enjoyment out of that, the kind of camaraderie of it, and the physical aspect of playing the pipes itself. It's quite a physical instrument. So that and developing their knowledge and musical skills. We've all heard that music is a good avenue for both physical and mental well-being.
How do we care for our youngsters? Well, me personally, I make sure the office door is shut. I make sure this window, it's actually open at the moment, is shut, and then hopefully nobody comes anywhere near me.